Hey, everybody. Here we are for one of your favorite things because you've asked for it, a live Q&A podcast with my guides and me answering your questions that you've submitted previously through my website, through webinars that I've done. And we're taking questions live from those of you who are joining us on YouTube. You can type it in the chat. And I am joined today by my chief of staff, Stephanie Pfennig, who will be fielding the questions. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Can't wait to dive in.
It's exciting, and it's fun because I've been doing so much already today, just juggling a bunch of projects. I don't know if you saw the daily message from Spirit today, Steph, but it was all about juggling, and they were probably giving me a preview of what today is like juggling, but I must have texted 6 or 7 different people and made 4 or 5 phone calls on a Sunday, work-related, but everybody said, hey, we'll see you at the live podcast today. And I said, wow, people really do listen. So I'm glad to hear it. And then since we're doing this live, it is Super Bowl Sunday here in the United States. And Stephanie, out of the goodness of her heart, made herself available for this because you're hosting, 15 people for a Super Bowl party later today.
Yes, we have 15 and we have a big family. So luckily it's not too big of a lift because everybody brings something kind of buffet style. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
That sounds like fun. And I'm going to attend a local affiliate chapter meeting of Helping Parents Heal that my dear friend and neighbor Irene Vuvalidis is hosting at her home. About 25 Shining Light parents will be there. My husband Ty is going with us. I know I'll be asked to say a few words, but we're going just as fellow Shining Light parents ourselves, meaning we have children across the veil. So if any of you don't know about Helping Parents Heal and you know somebody or you are somebody with a child who has passed, check it out, helpingparentsheal.org. They encourage discussions of the afterlife and the awareness that our loved ones who have passed are still here. And that's one of the greatest joys of my work, to share that with all of you, no matter who you have across the veil, that life is eternal. We're going to take questions as we go, but I just have to share one of the latest gold nugget bits of evidence. I don't know if I shared this with you yet, Stephanie, but the very last reading I did 2 days ago was talking to my client. I had her on Zoom, and I saw this black cat's tail go across the screen, not the screen of my mind, like in Mediumship, but literally her cat walked, and we both laughed because it showed up. And as I saw that, the loved one in spirit that I was connecting with at the moment told me, there's another black cat, not that one, and its name is Simba. I knew this like I know my own name. It was so obvious that this spirit wanted me to pass that along. I passed it along to my client, and she said, yeah, that loved one's boyfriend has a cat named Simba. I just shook my head. The clarity of the connection, it's just, this is what it's all about, to show people that our loved ones are right here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So we have questions, the answers. I'm going to check with every one of them. Even if I think I know, I'll check in with my team. Notice how I look up there. That's where I feel them. I tuned in with them before we went on the air. My group calls themselves Sanaya, which means one worth knowing. We're all part of the oneness. And so they told me they're ready to go. So let's do it, Stephanie.
All right. Don't forget to be putting your cute questions in the comments. I'll pull from there and from all the questions we get in various ways.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what any of them are, by the way. She doesn't tell me them in advance.
Nope. All right. So this first question is, can you help us understand and practice manifesting? There's so much talk about it. Can you help us with that?
Yes. I'm working on a book now. It's already under contract with Hay House for next year. And I just got a download from Spirit. These various conversations I have with Spirit are going into the book. And Joy, Spirit, that's what I call Spirit, gave me this equation for manifesting. And it is intention plus action equals experience. So there's a preview of the book already. I've never heard it that way. But to manifest, we don't just pray and we don't just set an intention. We tune in after we set a very clear intention, and we discern from the heart, what is the best step for me to take? The reason we're tuning in from the heart is that gets us out of thinking we have to do it all on our own. And Spirit says, you have so much more help than you know. They're reminding me of my interview with Lorna Byrne, the wonderful angel intuitive, who said that there are thousands of unemployed angels waiting to help us if we'll only ask. So first consider, what is it you hope to manifest? Check your motive always. Is it something that will serve the greater good? It's okay if it's self-serving, but let's not make it egotistical, that type of self-serving. If you know that what you want to achieve or you hope to gain is something that will help all of us in some way, even if it's through your own evolution, then set the intention. This is what I hope to do. Now you just tune in from the heart and say, what action do I need to take? We don't just leave it to Spirit to do everything. And you'll be guided step by step by step to the personal experience of what you want, if it serves the greater good. The test, if you're on the right track, is if you're hitting a wall, you're not listening. And it's not meant, they said not necessarily and, or it's not meant to happen. Sometimes we don't have the bigger picture. So we have to trust that we may want something very badly, but we might not want it to happen. So tuning in, acting, pause, tune in again, in that way leads to some kind of experience, and hopefully the experience of achieving what you're trying to manifest.
That's amazing, Suzanne. And you know, what I love about how Sanaya and you answered that was it added this element of, of kind of get out of your ego. It may not come to be, but it just gave some really real tips. And you guys see me writing because I'm like, oh, this is great. I got to get this too. What do you hope? It's not egotistical, and just know that it might not be meant to be. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Here's one from Kat. If I could see my main spirit guide and guardian angel, would they be by my side 24 hours a day? Like even hovering when I sleep?
The guides, good energy here. The guides say to say that they're by your side. Oh, this is cool. Is putting it into human terms that allow you to visualize what it's like, because it's actually much more challenging for us to visualize what's happening at the deeper foundational levels. We are this hive, this beautiful buzzing field of energy and information. We ourselves, our soul is this, they're saying it like a hive, bzzz, always interacting with what's around us. And our guides are also these fields of energy that are completely merged with us. So it's not like here's a human body and here's this angel sitting beside us or sitting on our shoulders or hovering over us. They're merged with us in awareness, because we picture ourselves as fields floating in this beautiful sea of consciousness. I just mixed metaphors of fields and sea. So these beautiful eddies of consciousness in a big sea of consciousness, but so are our guides, a finer density, a finer vibration of energy merging with us. And anytime they need to put something in our awareness, they change the energy information that we have access to at all times. Anytime we speak to them or even think, we don't need to speak, they remind us. They receive it first energetically. They don't need words. They know what our intentions are, to go back to the last question, what we're up to, and how they might need to steer us with a different insight that's given to us by changing this buzzing field of information. Isn't that a cool way to visualize it?
Gosh, how cool. And it matches right with what you talk about, the merging, that when we practice the bless me, we merge. How comforting is it to know that they merge with us? Yeah. Wow.
What Bev, sorry, Bev. Bev is my other main assistant. What Stephanie just referred to, I had the B for bless me method on my mind, which is why I went to Bev. What Stephanie just mentioned with Bless Me is my 7-step method for attuning to higher consciousness, which is a fabulous tool that's available on YouTube and the gifts page of my website for taking you from this normal waking consciousness to the perfect state for communicating with guides and loved ones across the veil. And one of the steps, the M in Bless Me, as Stephanie said, is merge with your guides. But based on what they just told us and truly the way it works, they are always merged with us. When we use the merge step, that's when we say, come now, or step into my awareness. It's really that, again, is our concession to how we tend to visualize things. But all it's doing is acknowledging an awareness. Now we are consciously, actively interacting. Nothing has really moved because we're already part of this web. Isn't that cool?
Oh, very cool. Yeah, very cool. Wow.
Stephanie, you might want to be noting the questions as they go so we can summarize these in the show notes afterwards. So we've already talked about intention and then the presence of our guides. So you have to be juggling a lot of balls right now.
I've got them. I'm capturing them. It's so
I
cool.
want to tell you all that Stephanie gave up a corporate career, 30 years in the corporate world, to help with the spiritual work. And I hear from so many of you that you would love to somehow bring your spiritual path into your workplace. And it's possible in unique ways for all of us. Just ask your guides how to do that. But I love the skills that Stephanie brings to this team.
Oh, thank you. Blessing. It's a blessing. All right. Here's one. How can I stay focused on the good in life when there feels like there's so much turmoil and hate surrounding us?
Fantastic question. Let me just check with the guides on this. They're showing me the yin yang symbol, which I'm sure I don't have one close at hand, is the perfect symbol of balance with the dark on one side, the light on the other, but each one has an element of light and dark in it. If it's light, it has a little bit of darkness and vice versa. It's the perfect symbol for life in our physical bodies. We're here to roll around in the light and dark, but happily, we're not only human. I'm being shown a diagram I use in a lot of my webinars where we have the yin yang symbol, but then this spiral that rises above the duality to this beautiful orb of light representing the soul, which of course encompasses all of this. It's not separate, but it allows us this model to visualize that we are both the human and the duality, rolling around in this good and the bad and the evil and the love, all part of our wholeness. But we are also this light, the light of the soul that is beyond and also the humanity. So knowing that we're always and eternally these souls, we set the intention to take the action, going back to the first question, of moving our awareness every time we become aware of restriction within ourselves, of the flow of the life force from something around us that doesn't feel so good, moving our awareness to the heart, which is the bridge to the soul. And from that place, being aware of our true nature, we already shift our focus to the good in life. It's programming that we have to overcome. The left hemisphere of the brain wants to keep us safe. It focuses naturally on the negative, on the dangers, so that we take action if we're in danger. But we're not always in danger just reading the news, yet there's something in the programming that loves drama and loves that negativity. Once you recognize it's the program, you can consciously walk and talk the awakened way of living and just shift to the heart and say, I choose to focus on the positive, to be a force for positive change, to know that that is part of my human role, but I'm here to help us evolve by focusing on love. Wow. Thanks to the guides for these answers. I can tell they're flowing beautifully today.
That is so cool. And one thing, I've heard you say something similar before. One thing I do is I set an alarm for like 9, 12, 3, 6. And I just remember something and I bring something into my awareness that is just love and peace to try to keep me in that mindset, when you hear all these other things.
I love that. Love that. There's little reminders. We have a chapter in the book behind me there, The Awakened Way, about setting reminders. That's training and reprogramming the brain to have that more positive mindset. So beautiful. Good example, Steph.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. This one's from Paulette. When you say shift or from the heart, how do we know we're in the heart?
Okay. I'm laughing because I know how I want to answer, but I want to see how Spirit answers. Spirit says it is an innate knowing because you are the soul. It feels delicious. It feels like a lift to be in the soul because that is your true nature and you are resonating with who you fundamentally are. It's why we all know the difference between a good choice and one that's going to hurt other people. It's part of the programming that leads to evolution. So when we make the shift to shift into higher consciousness, that's a little different than being in the heart. Being in the heart, just there's that resonance with our true path, our true being as a soul. But to make the shift, that's when we want to shift to higher dimensions, finer frequencies. That's a whole different intention than simply coming from the heart. That's now I not only want to come from the heart, but now that I'm in soul awareness, I'm shifting to a different channel. Like we talked about the guides earlier, is right here. And it's our intention that gets us there. Saying shift is the action part of the intention and manifesting the goal of communicating with higher spirits.
Oh, I love that. And I love the word delicious. You said it feels delicious. Doesn't that sound like something Lynette would say? Just delicious, just in everyday talk, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good feeling. All right.
Hang on a second. Some people may be new to the Awaken Way community. Who's Lynette? Lynette was, she is our dear friend. She was my assistant for about 6 years, maybe 7. She's now fully enjoying retirement, but everybody knows Lynette for her beautiful writing in her blog, The Unexpected Mystic. Check it out. And for her infectious laugh.
Yes.
You can find her in some of my past Q&A sessions and my monthly webinar archives.
Yes. All right. Here's one for someone who is starting to practice mediumship. Do you feel going to the Arthur Findlay College is or was integral to your development as a medium? Are there any comparable schools in the United States?
All right. I can answer as Suzanne and not Suzanne and Sanaya. It was absolutely integral to my path because I wanted to study with Mavis Patilla. She passed 2 years ago, but she and I were meant to work together. We ultimately became friends and colleagues, and I wrote her biography, Droplets of God. Mavis used to be the lead tutor at the Arthur Findlay College in England. There is definitely something about the energy in that facility. It's the former estate of Arthur Findlay, who was an economist and was totally skeptical of mediumship and the ability to connect with the spirit world until he discovered evidential mediums, and it changed his life, as it will for those who are skeptical. When you get evidence that you can't possibly know, it will rock your worldview. So he bequeathed his estate to be a school for mediums to learn evidential mediumship. And that's what they still have the focus on. But I hear that it has changed a lot. The tutors are different. I don't know any of the tutors now, so I can't recommend any of them. But certainly the energy there and the full immersion in mediumship for 5, 7 days, 3 days, however long the courses that people choose to take, certainly allows you to focus and learn new tools in a great environment. I personally don't know of any such schools in the United States. We'll probably get some comments on that. but that's the only one I know of. Is it necessary if you want to be a professional medium? That would depend on each person. Ask your guides in meditation, do I really need to go there? It's expensive, causes you to be away if you're traveling from a long distance. The school itself is not outrageously expensive. I don't know. I haven't checked in 10 years, but you'll know if it's your calling to go there or not. I have a lot of courses of my own online, some I've done with the Shift Network, some that I've created on my own, some with Humanity's team. So check out the courses on my webpage. That will allow you to immerse yourself and binge watch the courses yourself. There's definitely something special about that school.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. All right. This one is interesting. They're all interesting. Don't get me wrong. They are. I love this. You guys keep them coming. If you consistently have dreams of someone you don't speak to anymore, but who is in this world, who is alive in our world, is that actually them coming to you to try to communicate with you on a soul level?
The guides are saying this is likely unfinished business and not their soul visiting you. It's either information. There's my first lip twitch of the show. Those of you who know, when I work with spirit, they'll give me, oh, I see. Right. I was like, why didn't you twitch it until now? And they said, because you were very sure of the answers coming through from us very clearly, but this one is a new one completely, and you needed that confidence. They do that when it's a trust this answer, say it clearly and faithfully. Hang on. Where were we? I've lost it again. Okay.
We were talking about if someone comes to you in your dreams from this world. Yes. Okay.
So let me ask Sanaya again. Often when there is someone with whom you haven't communicated, but there is unfinished business, there is much rolling around in your subconscious mind, which is the source of much of your dream material. There can be an influence from that person's field because you are entangled, but it's likely not an active soul interaction. The guides just said, rest assured that your souls are interacting all the time anyway. So the soul doesn't need to visit you in the sleep state. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is new. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. All right. This is one from Juliet. Are new souls coming into being for the first time from across the veil, and they haven't been to Earth school yet? If energy can't be destroyed, can new energy come in as a soul?
Absolutely. Oh, if I could just explain to you the visuals. Okay. Spirit's giving me a 3-dimensional flower of life. If you don't know what the flower of life looks like, go on images on the internet and search for it. But it's almost always shown as 2-dimensional, and lots of people have jewelry with the flower of life on it. Beautiful way to picture your soul with all of the intersecting circles within it as the many lifetimes that your soul is enjoying beyond time. So not linear, but all at once, which is enough to just destroy our minds trying to wrap them around that. But Spirit says it's not 2-dimensional. These are spheres, fields of energy. And so the soul can create new fields from the material that's already in its field. Oh, we'll take some of the characteristics from this lifetime, that lifetime, and just put it into a linear experience for that individuated aspect of consciousness. So that might be just a brand new combination of characteristics that this soul wants to work on and just pops it out. But now you're bringing it into this, the whole time concept that we enjoy here, but not as a soul. So I hope that's helpful somehow, but it's just a constant recycling of energy information fields.
Cool.
Let me take a break from this right now, because that one is kind of causing my mind to go, oh, that's challenging. I want to share with you all some upcoming things that I would love for you to know about. Let me bring this up on screen here. Yeah. Okay, first of all, if you're new to the podcast, please click that subscribe button. That helps us get these videos out to more people. The more subscribers I have, the more YouTube pushes it out to other people so they can get this good content. And if you don't want to miss a new program, I believe there's a little bell you can click for notifications every time a new video comes up. My wonderful podcast creator, Christy, puts up short videos every Thursday. And in between my live events, she puts up longer videos every Sunday. And I come in and Stephanie and Christy and I chat with you in the chat when it's not live. What else? Well, I hope you'll check out my website. If you're new to my work, it's SuzanneGiesemann.com. And if you want to meet with me in person or other online events, just scroll down on that homepage. Right under the banner, you'll see featured events. Let me just tell you about a few right now. This Tuesday, just a couple nights from now, if you're watching live before Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, is my monthly connection webinar. Ooh, do I have a serious topic to discuss? Oof. It's going to be a little painful for me to go into because I'm going to describe how I fell hook, line, and sinker for a scam. And Stephanie, unfortunately, I pulled her into it. I pulled Beth into it. And did we pay the price? And afterwards, I had to say, I'm a psychic. How did I fall for this? So always our pain leads to growth. And I'm going to share that Tuesday night with lessons for all of us about how we can be duped, how that can happen to anybody because we're human and souls, and the lessons learned from that, along with other much more positive things Tuesday night. To find out about that, to register for that, just scroll down on the main homepage right here. This icon will help you register for that. 2 hours, including the latest and greatest really cool evidence, like that Simba thing I shared at the beginning with the cat named Simba, other things to just expand what your soul already knows, to emphasize this is real. The spirit world is real. We have another monthly connection the next month. I believe the cruise to the Caribbean for the Awakened Way still has some openings. We just finished a conference in San Rafael, California. Stephanie and I did. It was fantastic. Expand is what the name of it is. And we have another Expand conference in Atlanta coming up in June. Also, I'll be live in person at the Omega Institute in New York for 3 days in July. So those are just the next 5 events coming up. If you're interested in any of those, check out SuzanneGiesemann.com. We have a free app, the Awakened Way app. 55,000 people have already downloaded it and get the daily messages from my guides who are talking to you today, Sanaya, every day, plus a lot of wonderful features on there, like the Inspire button, where you can ask a question of spirit and see what answer you get. Check out my books online, The Awakened Way I mentioned already, Mediumship, if you want to know more about how you can connect with your own loved ones and how they're trying to communicate with you. This is a wonderful book for that. Here's just a cover to get it in your mind. It's not available yet. My new book, Making the Afterlife Connection, comes out in June. It'll be available for pre-order in April. A few more announcements and we'll get back to questions from all of you. This was a fantastic interview I did with Mayim Bialik. She used to be a star on multiple TV shows, so you may recognize her, but she is also a neuroscientist. She had me on her show, as you can see, for almost 2 hours by the timestamp in the lower right corner there. She grilled me. It was like an interrogation from a scientist. And luckily, my guide Sanaya helped me. We were up to the task, but it's really fun to see Mayim's responses. She got so excited. I feel like we really won her over with the evidence and the facts that we've learned from this work. I'm extremely excited to share that the documentary Wolf's Message is really nearing completion so that we can share it with the world. We'll have a website to announce very soon about that. That will be available online, and really exciting, Ty and I are taking it for live screening events around the United States starting this April. If you look closely, all these little yin yang symbols indicate places where he and I will be in person to watch the movie with all of you for an hour and then discuss it afterwards, answer your questions, tell you the behind the scenes things. So if you want to be notified when that tour starts and how to sign up, please go to my website and join my email list. That's how you'll be notified about new events. All right. That's it for the announcements. Hopefully they're helpful. let's get back to Q&A. I have to do hopefully I model what all of us can do. I was just doing this human stuff. Now I need to just integrate with soul awareness and make that shift. That's all it takes is just intention and shift. And here are the guides. We're ready to answer another one.
Awesome. Ready to roll. Okay. This one is from Susan. Are Akashic records real? And if so, are we mediums at times tapping into information rather than connecting with a departed soul?
Okay, these two-part questions are challenging when I'm in an expanded state. You might have to go back to part 2 again.
Okay.
So are the Akashic records real? For those of you who aren't familiar with the term, it's really interesting. That Expand conference that I was at, and Stephanie was with me in San Rafael, California, featured 6 authors in a series of sacred stories publishing that my mediumship book is part of. One of them is called Akasha. So one of the speakers is an expert on the Akashic records. She will absolutely tell you they are real. I will tell you that referring to these as the Akashic records is one way of referencing the sea of consciousness I was referring to earlier. It's simply a concept that we use, a model that we use to show that there's part 2. Yes, all information, all stories are accessible to all of us because we are not only people visiting the library where these records are held, but we are the records themselves. It's all consciousness that expresses itself through energy and information. And because we are consciousness itself, the energy and the information is part of us and accessible to us in awareness when we set the intention and shift to access it. So if I want to know something about a past life or a current life, I could sit here and say, all right, I'm visualizing myself as a soul accessing the book of my life, and I'm opening it to see what the story has to tell me. There are people that do Akashic record readings. More or less, that would be one way they would do that. And the information would unfold because that's a beautiful model of how to tap in. Personally, I simply know that I'm part of the entire sea of all that is because we all are the one. And I say, I would like this information that goes out, picks out the right information from simply all that is, and it downloads into awareness. So I'm sure there are many other ways to access that. We could come up with other models, other concepts, but in that regard, the Akashic record is real.
That's awesome. Big, and I'm just smiling so big and shaking my head because you and Sanaya just made it so tangible. You know, it's the sea of consciousness, and there's many ways to tap in. It's just so helpful. Thank you.
I love that you bring that up again because my guides are showing me the Gulf Stream that flows up the east coast of the United States. When you cross it in a sailboat like I did crossing the Atlantic, you can tell when you're in that stream because the water changes color, becomes this gorgeous turquoise. It's carrying the turquoise water from the Caribbean up the coast. So there are streams of consciousness carrying energy information in this sea, and these little eddies are you and me and past lives, and we tap into them. This makes it seem, the guides want me to give a caution, that this is a geographically located field, when it's really simply one field that's just vibrating and resonating holographically. So, we haven't talked hologram in a long time. It's great. So every piece, every point in the sea of consciousness is reflective of the entire sea. That's what you have with a hologram. If you have a picture of an eagle, and somebody needed an eagle for their sign today, they just told me that's why they used the eagle. You asked for an eagle, you got it. Cut off a piece of that eagle picture, and that little snippet would contain all the information that made up the entire picture. So even though I'm using the imagery of a stream of consciousness, like the Gulf Stream, with eddies representing you, me, all that is, every point in all that is contains the energy information of all that is. These questions are long, deep, but I know that I hear from a lot of you what you love about our teaching is we do our best to make it simple, easy to comprehend, and use analogies so that we get it and we can evolve faster. What does it mean to evolve? Come to love each other, to bring our soul's nature to the surface and say, I'm here to shine my light, and do that more and more as we realize we are the light of God. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right. Here's a quick one. Interesting, quick. Can you heal yourself being in higher awareness? Can you heal yourself when you're in higher awareness?
Oh, the guides just want to take over on that one and say healing takes place effortlessly as you bask in the higher energies. And we are doing our best to transmit these higher energies to you through programs such as these. Can you not feel it now? If you were to close your eyes for a moment and tune in, do you not feel a buzzing in the hands? Move awareness to the legs. Do you not feel the very vibration of your being? This heightened awareness is because we have created a field of awareness by our presence and yours with us here today. Healing is taking place. Trust this. Spend more time in expanded states of consciousness beyond the normal restricted states of thinking you are only human, and healing will take place. Wow, very nice. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Even before you said the tingling, you talked about, hey, you're in it now. I could feel it in my forearms and in my lower legs. Wow.
Yeah. You were with me, Stephanie, last weekend in San Francisco. Everybody had trouble sleeping that night because we were in that high energy all night. Then we came into this ballroom where the first day was the 6 authors, wonderful interaction. Then the second day, just like we'll do in Atlanta, was a full day of me teaching with Sanaya, including a channeling session. And they have told us every time they're present, healing is taking place. We've had people at my channeling sessions have spontaneous physical healings. And it's just a gift that spirit gives us when we acknowledge we're not only human, we're going to be open to how energy really flows through us and as us. We had a film crew come and take photographs and get testimonials at the conference. And they said, when we stepped into the room, it was just like, whoa, the energy in here is off the charts. And it's not just spirit. It's all of us acknowledging we're on this path together, like all of you watching right now. We're here to learn and grow. And as you do that, spirit shows me right now, your light burns brighter. Every cell in your body knows what health is, knows what balance is, wants nothing more to be in a state of health and balance. It will do its work beautifully if we get out of the way, raise our vibration through positive thoughts and self-healing thoughts. Saying to the cells, I trust you to bring my body into balance. I will feed you good, healthy food. I will cut back on activities that are not so healthy for me and actions that are not so healthy for me. I will do things in moderation. Those kinds of things support the natural healing from within of the body. You said that was a quick one. That was not too quick.
It was a quick question, but it's just a beautiful answer that was just rife with understanding. Just love it.
Good.
Thank you. All right. This next one is from Anne. Can we clear our wounds permanently, or will the imprint of our wounds always be part of our journey?
Can we I was writing notes because Spirit told me
Yeah.
something. I didn't want to interrupt you. I'll get
Okay.
back to what I wrote. Can we heal our, say it again. I'm sorry.
Yep. No worries. Can we clear our wounds permanently, or will the imprint of our wounds always be part of our journey?
We can clear our wounds permanently. I'm going to be using an analogy on the Caribbean cruise that involves a model with a sheet of wax that something moves through, and as it moves through, the wax fills in behind it because it's soft wax. If you could imagine your energy field with vibrations that are dissonant, and they're dissonant for a long time, and they're causing the life force to be interrupted in the normal flow. When you heal that, it just becomes part of the flow. So it's permanently healed. Wow, this is all new ways of explaining it. I love this. But can you visualize then that it's simply a matter of not being aware of what is out of alignment in your field? I'm going to share Tuesday night in the webinar I told you about, the monthly connection webinar, how I had 3 readings in 1 week where I only gave 4 readings that I had to call off because I was so out of alignment and couldn't figure it out. And I was healed from that. And that healed not only what was causing that, which I'll reveal Tuesday night, but I've now discovered it healed something that has been in me a long time that I wasn't aware of, because the readings I've done since then are a level of flow that I'm just dropping to my knees in gratitude for Spirit with. We are always able to move onward and upward. I tell my mediumship students, it just keeps getting better. And that's the joy of this journey. There's always more clarity we can have in our connection. And the more we work on ourselves to discover these places where the flow meets resistance and misalignment, it's healed. And karmically, the greater soul says, okay, now we don't have to put that back into the mix in another lifetime because it was healed. All of our lifetimes affect the others. So work on your stuff now and enjoy the journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So speaking of healing, this is the note I made. And by the way, every time I think about all of you in our community that come every week and join me here, my heart just is overflowing with the love. I feel it from you. I'm sending it back to you. We're really creating something beautiful here that sends ripples, the guides say, out to our universe. It changes us from the inside out. But speaking of healing, I've talked twice in the last 2 days to my dear friends Mike and Beth Passacarnis. They are the dad and stepmom of Wolf, the protagonist, the star, the main purpose of doing Wolf's message. They're going through a big journey right now with leukemia that Beth has been struggling with. And they have felt and benefited from all of your prayers over the months and months, over a year that they've been on this cancer journey. And I just ask you to keep it coming. They're seeing some wonderful results from her second bone marrow transplant. Very encouraging, yet a long way of healing to go that the guides say does not necessarily have to be long. So let's pump up the healing for Mike and Beth, please. And for everybody else, just take a moment now for everybody in your life, including yourself. If we just send healing to each other right now, we don't do it. We're bringing it through from Spirit and sending it outwards with our intention. Just like that. Picture yourself like you are a faucet that lets a spigot, right? And you turn the faucet, and that healing energy with our intention goes out to Mike and Beth, to you, and to anybody in your circle of family and friends or work that needs healing. Right now, we're sending them this big dose saying, Spirit, we know that with your help, anything is possible as it serves the greater good. May healing take place as a result of our intentions and our action. May the experience be that of perfect health and balance for all concerned. And now, like a faucet, you just turn it off. You're not drained. That went out. It's doing its work. Thanks to your love. Okay. Whew. Stephanie, you're doing really well. You've had quite a few passings in your life. Your mom passed just a couple months ago, and you're back at things. It's because of this community, right? We all help each other.
Oh, it's been amazing. Our community is amazing, and the tools, and thank you. Thanks, everyone. All right. This one is from Dinah. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I see orbs in my house all the time. Some are bright white, some are pink, some blue, and others opaque. Are these spirits of loved ones and or angels?
And Spirit says yes and yes. I don't know if Dinah or Dina is seeing them with her naked eye or through ring camera videos or in photos, but our loved ones are present. Is that energy that in our world shows up as distinct units of consciousness that move. That's how it is here. And the different colors would be reflective of just how some clairvoyants can see the colors in our aura that reflect the energy that we're vibrating, with pink and blue and purple being, of course, those lovely divine higher vibrational colors. So I remember I shared in one of my Archangel Michael videos a video of a blue orb sitting right over my head right when I was thinking about Archangel Michael, and a blue streak of healing for a woman who Archangel Michael claimed he was healing. Beautiful color associated with him. He's also associated with purple. Your loved ones, many times in videos, they show up as white, which contains all the colors. So celebrate the wonder of it all. Be as the child, be willing to play, be open to new concepts and new experiences, as long as it's helpful and healing. And you just don't know what miracles will take place.
Oh, beautiful. All right. This one is from Anne. Anne says, and I remember hearing this in a past monthly connection, Sanaya says that we as a species are moving from the dark to the dim ages. Do they still see it that way? And, sometimes it's hard to see from a human perspective.
They are using the term epoch and eras, that in your human terms, these periods last far more than just a few lifetimes. The Dark Ages was an era. The Dim Ages is an era with gradations, they use that term, that are constantly showing improvement. There may be setbacks within the bands of improvement as the human species slips backwards through choices, but they can see that our efforts, it's definitely getting brighter. So what's the next era we're heading for? Dark, dim, just brighter, they say. It's definitely brighter. Yeah, very cool. Hopeful, really. They say it jokingly that it would be silly to say these are the bright ages when you read the headlines and see that there are just so many people yet who don't realize that we are souls here to learn to love each other. But that's part of evolution. God is not dismayed by this. Perhaps a God in a cloud that grants favors might be dismayed, but the true being, spirit, force, source that is and flows through all of us, the life force, does not get discouraged by the light and dark, realizes this is what it created for us, to have these experiences and enjoy the joy and the deliciousness as we come to remember, oh yes, I am this. So yeah. Do me a favor, everybody. I'm just starting to flag in the energy here because it's really a high energy today. I'm feeling, you take these breaths, right? So what we've learned when I do channeling sessions is if you turn up your light, just like you just did the healing, and just send me a big dose of love, it is incredible how that energizes me to be able to hold this, to complete at least a whole hour here together, because I want to keep getting this level of answers for all of you. I'm waiting for it. I want to hold the connection and get the here it comes, highest possible answers from all of you. It is phenomenal how when we focus our love and send it with intention, it's felt. Woo! That's like a burst of caffeine, and I can't handle much caffeine, but I can handle that love. Let's go. Bring it on now. Thank you all. Okay.
sometimes just a little surge, right?
Right.
This one comes from Benny. What are the most common blockages to connect with our guides and our higher self? So often I feel or hear nothing. How can I unblock those?
All right. I'm getting a flood all over once. So, Sanaya, how do I do this in order? Okay. The number one blockage is trying. When we try, it creates restriction. Feel it in your body. Just say, I'm trying right now. Just say it, even if silently. I'm trying. Feel what that does to your torso. Constriction. Now say, I'm open to you, Spirit, and feel the difference. So our desires, our goal setting can get in the way, our assumptions and expectations. So set a clear intention of who you want to connect with, what you would like to experience. Know that Spirit has the bigger picture, and then say, here I am, I'm open. Please send to me what I'm able to receive now, whatever experience I'm able to have. Just open armed, open mind, and receive. And then the guides say, add to that a bit of trust, as much trust as you can muster, actually. Trust that you are blossoming and opening precisely as it's meant to be for your path. We just watched the full Wolf's Message video yesterday, and it just blows my mind. It's so good. I cannot wait to share Wolf's messages with everybody and the teaching that he came here to share. And in that documentary, I shared that it was 3 years of daily meditation before my stepdaughter Susan finally made her presence known to me. That was my initial goal, but that's what opened me to all of this. This is why I'm a medium today. This is why I'm able to channel my guides today, because she didn't show up right away. At the time, I was frustrated. At the time, I'm trying to get Susan. But as a result of her deliberately holding back, she came back to tell me this. For 3 years, I had 3 years of training in accessing higher consciousness, letting it flow. Every meditation was not what I wanted, and yet I see the perfection in it looking back. If you could just put on your 2020 foresight glasses and see that it's unfolding perfectly, and stop trying and trust Spirit. Be open to what happens as you set a clear intention that serves the greatest good. Now I see why Spirit needed me to be up for that answer. Thank you all for that burst.
Cool. Very cool. All right. This is from, I hope I'm saying this right, Adriana. Is there a difference between the soul and the higher self? Is the soul the nucleus of the human and the higher self the spirit?
All right. We go back to our diagram of the flower of life. I have a slide already from my Caribbean cruise to share this. I think I shared it. Oh, I drew it up. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, we'll draw. I can draw.
Okay.
I have a notepad right here. So let's see how we do this. Okay. So we tend to think of this as our aura around us, right? But what if this is the soul? And this is a model, of course. It's an energy field. This is, thank you, Spirit, an eddy, a pattern of energy in the stream of consciousness, okay? But right here, within this one eddy that is your soul, let me go bigger here. That'll help. And it's a little hard to see. Within this bigger eddy is a smaller eddy. That's you in a body. Okay? This is your soul, which actually, here we come. We're going to get the flower of life here going. So this pen runs out. Okay, here now we're getting our design going. All of these could represent the lives that your soul is having right now, other incarnations that actually, to our awareness here, unfold linearly, past, present, future lives. But here you are completely aligned with the vibration of the soul. You're swimming in your soul's field and energy, But all of this beyond your little eddy is the higher self, HS. So you can see that setting the intention to access the higher self brings in information from the soul that is readily accessible, but not normally in your conscious mind. Now expand this. Your soul is one eddy in the entire sea of consciousness. This would be the Akashic record we spoke of earlier. And because it's all holographic, all of this is accessible to you. I just eat this stuff up. I hope that I'm making it clear to you. I hope it's the way to conceptualize. My number one answer when I first tuned into a spirit and got the nickname Twinkle Toes of this woman in a class, how did I do that? It's because of that. We are all connected in the stream of consciousness. We're all little eddies. And Stephanie, you were there this past weekend in San Rafael when I shared the story of how I shared similar teaching, not quite as elaborate with the flower of life and the higher self. I shared it at a retreat that I did at Unity Village several years ago. And I kept referring back to us, our field of energy, our soul, as eddies. And this German woman came up to me, remember? She came up to me and she said, Suzanne, I'm understanding most of what you are telling me quite clearly, but I only have one question. Who is Eddie? I love it. I love that. Okay. Whirlpools. We are just whirlpools in the stream of consciousness. So, oh, that's a good one. I promised all kinds of new teaching on the cruise, and I don't want to give away too much for those of you who've already signed up. So I'll teach another way of visualizing that after the cruise for those of you who can't join us. But I could just go on and on and on. It's just such a joy, isn't it, to come to understand who and what we are. A master spirit. That would be a great way to end right there. But the guide said, go a little longer. So Stephanie, you use your heart. Tune in for the best questions.
All right. All right. So this one has been asked several times. How does Sanaya feel about euthanasia for people who are terminally ill? How does Sanaya feel? That's been asked a few times.
Well, and I don't know if the answer will be different because I don't remember what they said. So we just ask them currently, and it's always, they know who's going to hear this and who needs to hear this. You humans are gifted with free will, the ability to make choices. Pain is part of the human trajectory. You learn from it. Oh, they're showing me that our pain causes us to find new medicines, to find new ways of healing. It spurs us on to growth. But there comes a point when enough lessons have been learned. There's no judgment for those who may choose to end their pain early, but do understand that those around you may continue to grow by your ongoing continued presence here in a physical body. And so, lacking the bigger picture, we encourage you to remain as long as possible, for the soul knows when it is time to withdraw from the body. Allow the soul to make that choice. But again, we say, should you choose to make that choice yourself, it is understood why you would do so, and there is no judgment. So they could just go round and round saying the same thing over and over. But that's what we got.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Okay, this is from Tammy, and she's so excited. It's in all caps. She says, how do I find a local community of like-minded people to learn from and meditate with? I'm hungry to learn.
Okay, if you're in the United States and Canada, well, there's actually a worldwide community of New Thought churches that's a really great place to start. Unity churches, Science of Mind churches, look that up and see if there's one near you. We're going to do a lot of our screenings of Wolf's Message documentary at those types of facilities around the country, because I've spoken at them many times over the last 12 or more years, and they're very open to this sort of thing. Check out your local metaphysical shop or crystal store. Check out meetup groups online outside of the US and everywhere. And then Spirit says simply take advantage of technology, which they told us over a decade ago we would be doing, and create your own group. How do we do that? But we used to put groups together and it just became too much for us with everything else we had going on. But I know that some of my Shift Network Facebook groups, people have formed groups from those. So Spirit says right now, simply put it out to the universe. I wish to be part of a like-minded group. Help me find my peeps. I didn't say it exactly like that, of course. They allow me to put this into my language and the words that we would all understand. But they're showing me that as you radiate, I'm looking for a group of kindred spirits. You attract to yourself from your very vibration what you need, not just what you desire. So when you're radiating your own love, and not from a place of fear, when you're radiating, I'm here to share with others this beautiful journey we're on, our unemployed angels will help guide those people to you. So that's a great way to end that, right? Just knowing that we picture that whole sea of consciousness and picture yourself sending out ripples from your eddy, your whirlpool, your field of influence and energy. I'm here to be a force for love in this world, a good force. And as those out there also looking for the same thing, pick up on that energy, may they act on that. And may those connections be very clear through emails or something I read online, or somebody who says just the right thing, or guiding me to go into a certain shop or church or facility. And maybe I feel blessed by these connections and share my gratitude with Spirit for them coming together beautifully. Nice. So I just celebrate all of you for coming together with us here today live. If you weren't live, no problem. Trust me, Spirit has assured us the energy of this gathering will be felt every time these videos are aired. So even if you watched already, you can come back and listen again. Those of you watching it at a later time, picking up that same energy. So soak it up, make it part of your very being to help you heal, and then be a healing force yourself. Thank you so much, Stephanie. You did a great job today.
Thank you.
All right. We love all of you so much. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. I will do these at least once a month. And I look forward to meeting you in person somewhere down the line. And again, online. Hopefully Tuesday night is going to be an awesome session. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will see you next time.